Welcome back, Duelists, and for anybody who's just joining us today for the first time, hi there. So today's deck profile was sort of a bit of a challenge, and just real quick, that was given to us by Garrett. I'm going to go with Buckman, correct me. You wanted a deck that based itself off getting life points with the option of getting the Winged Dragon of Raw. Well, I got something. No Winged Dragon of Raw, but I think that you will agree that this is actually going to be pretty fun. So, without any further ado, let's get you guys a deck list, right? So I'm going to be using the Shizu skill today, and we will be using Rise of the Fallen. So this is a pretty cool skill. It's going to fit into a fairy-type theming, and of course, getting us some life points. Real quick, for the deck list itself, we're going to be running 2 copies, Air Knight Parshath, 3 copies, Duname's, the Dark Witch. We are going to be running 2 Guardian Angel Jones. And we are going to round that out to about 10 monsters with 3 copies of Zolga. And if you guys don't know what these mean yet, don't worry, I explain this afterward. Again, the regulars you guys know. Spell cards, we're going to maximize Book of Moon. We are going to sneak in 3 copies of the Cestus of Dagla. And we are going to run double copies of Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. So this is actually pretty great. Traps, very simple, very vanilla. 2 copies ZOMA the Spirit, and that's it. Moving over to the extra deck, I do have a penchant for running the same 6. So that's 1 Joker, 2 Blue Eyes Ultimates, 1 Ryosenshi, and 2 Thousand Eyes Restricts. And in the sideboard this week, a little less tactical with a switch up, and more just trying to get the strategy through. So the 6 cards are going to be 2 copies Cosmic Cyclone, 2 copies Nobleman of Crossout, and then 2 copies Waking the Dragon, just in case they get a little offensive on you. So, if you guys were here for just the deck list, thank you guys for stopping by. I really do hope this helps you out, and if it does, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. And let your friends know. Maybe they'd be interested in this or one of the other many decks that we've already profiled here on the channel. You can find all of that on the channel. Literally, I try to break it down by playlists for you guys. So all the speed deck profiles are together. All the main deck videos are together. And like all the combos, since we've started doing some combos, those get kind of tossed together as well. But again, thank you for coming. It's been about 3 minutes. You guys have a wonderful day. Everybody else, if you guys want to know like the inner workings of this, we're going to go over the card effects and kind of talk them up now. So let's start that. So the skill card Rise of the Fallen is going to be a once per duel effect. You're going to activate this during your own main phase. Special summon 1 level 4 lower fairy monster in your graveyard, put that in defense position, and then immediately gain life points equal to its original attack. So this is cool for one big reason. You don't always get the chance to reborn cards in Speed Duel, and the only other skill for that really is the Shadow Reborn, which is going to cost you life points. And I think, actually, just real quick, yeah, your opponent takes no damage during the turn that you activate that skill. So, kind of a mismatch. This one's really going to help set us up for our Tribute Summons. But again, we want to gain life points. We want to be able to make a larger gap between us and the opponent. And again, with Inner Conflict still running super strong, this does make you harder to one-shot, which was really the point behind the entirety of today's build. Just making it harder and harder to beat you. So the first character that we ran was the Air Knight Parshath. Now, anytime he attacks a defense monster, we get to inflict piercing. And of course, whenever he inflicts battle damage, we get to draw a card. So he's going to be great utility. Valhalla is going to allow him to special summon if we don't have any monsters, so we don't even need a tribute to set him up. And if we do tribute summon to set him up, we can use Rise of the Fallen, get it back a character. Best case scenario would be ZOMA. We would gain the 1700 and then another 2000 off the effect when we go for the tribute summon. So kind of cool, kind of tech, and I'm loving it. So Air Knight Parshath is going to hit right around our tribute level. And with Cestus of Dagla is going to jump him to a Monarch's Strength, plus give him some more effects. Duname's Dark Witch is just going to be a nice vanilla. It's here for power standard. This helps get us up to that 1800 power grind. It's a good summon. And again, Rise of the Fallen, this is one of our 2 targets in the deck. We maximized both this and Zolga. So we're either going to gain consistently 1700 or 1800 attack points to our hit points. So again, it's just under half of what we actually start with. And again, we're only going to get that once a duel from the Rise. So very cool and not a bad art. Then we're going to use an OG powerhouse. We're going to be using Guardian Angel Joan as our quote-unquote boss monster. This card is pretty amazing. So first off, 2800. You can power this out, again, same way as we could with Parshath with Valhalla. Additionally, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, somewhat like Flame Wingman, but more of a healer here, gain life points equal to that monster's original attack in the graveyard. So again, the bigger a thing we beat, the more hit points we're going to gather. And again, if you do survive the initial inner conflict turn and they fail to wipe you, you can quickly gain back, and it's usually going to be like Jinzo or something. You'll be able to quickly gain back like 2400 hit points just off of this effect alone while reestablishing that you can use your traps again. So Guardian Angel Joan, very good 2 of. And then, of course, there's Zolga, 17 by 12 when this monster is tribute summoned. When a monster is tribute summoned by tributing this card, gain 2000. Again, if we do this right after Rise of the Fallen, we will gain 3,700 life points. We will almost double the initial starting life points. But again, if you're doing this to bounce back from inner conflict, trying to take the game, this will be great. It lets you try to outpace something that's trying to just one-shot you. And so again, you want to maximize this. To the spells, Book of Moon really doesn't need too much introduction. It allows you to target a face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense. Again, this will help us shut Jinzo off. Whatever the largest attacker is, usually the game swing when it comes to the inner conflict. If you're playing against Hyper Metamorphosis, you can put Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth face down. That's also very good. This really does help you. The only time that this spell really doesn't help is if you're running up against like Union Machines and they're using Spellproof Armor. That's really like the one downside of this spell card at this point. Cestus of Dagla, great equip spell. This is only going to go to fairy type monster cards. And it's going to give you a 500 attack point bonus. And again, this is what's going to take Parshath from that 19 to the 24. Dunames is going to get up to 23. Zolga up to 22. And Guardian Angel Joan up to 3,300 per copy. Again, you can equip multiple copies. That would be fine. The last part is what's amazing here. This is almost vampirism at this point. But anytime the monster equipped with this inflicts battle damage to the opponent, you get to gain those hit points as well. So let's just go back to Guardian Angel Joan versus Jinzo. We're essentially getting our whole attack worth of life gain, the full 3,300, because we're going to gain the 2,400 for having beaten Jinzo, and then the extra, 5,800, or no, maybe it's, I'm overthinking it. You're going to gain the 3,300 between the 2 effects. And again, if you have to box a couple of other monsters down real quick in the early game, this helps separate, just helps separate the hit point standings and kind of give you a more cushion for if inner conflict happens. And then the last spell, Valhalla, Hollow the Fallen. Again, kind of a brick, actually. And since Hecatrice isn't in Speed Duel at the moment, not searchable. But once per turn, you would be able to special summon 1 fairy from your hand. You must control 0 monsters to activate and resolve this effect. And I don't think there's any way for your opponent to put monsters on your side of the field with tokens right now. So for the most part, this is just always going to happen. And again, it's kind of bricky. It's very bricky. So this is definitely like a casual build. And Zoma here, special summon this card in defense as an effect monster with the following stats: zombie type, dark attribute, level 4, 1800 attack, 500 defense. Consider this still to be a trap card, and if this card summoned by its own effect was destroyed by battle, inflict damage to the opponent equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. This is another one of those little counters. Again, if you're playing up against the Giant Moth deck, if you're playing up against Inner Conflict, ZOMA the Spirit's actually going to help you in the long run, and could actually turn what was going to be their game swing into a potential game loss if they continue. Again, just beware of Jinzo. For the extra deck, and again, I always pick these 6 right now because they just seem to be the best generics and great targets for Waking the Dragon. ARCANA Knight Joker is going to, once per turn, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, while this is face up on the field, quick effect, discard the same type of card to negate the effect. Again, he's just going to protect himself. It's not like he's just negating everything out there. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, again, strongest card in the game at the moment. And definitely could be a help, especially if your opponent's going after your back row to aggressively play the second biggest card in the game, Obelisk the Tormentor. So that'll let you muscle out. Rhea Senshi has a little bit of extra play to him. When a normal trap card is activated, you may pay 1,000 life points as a quick effect to negate it. He needs to remain faceable on the field to activate and resolve this effect. So again, Book of Moon, if your opponent goes to use Rhea Senshi, is definitely a lifesaver for you. And again, negate the effects of any spell card that target this card and immediately destroy that. So again, a little self-protective, especially when you're dealing with cards like, I think it's Faustian Bargain, Book of Moon tries to target it, Tribute to the Doomed, and Offerings to the Doomed. So again, Rhea Senshi has a little bit of extended play. Thousand Eyes Restrict, good for setting up a lockdown, especially if you can't exactly wiggle out sometimes. His effect is other monsters on the field may not change their battle positions or attack. And then once per turn, you may target a monster that your opponent controls. Equip it to this card. He can only hold one at a time. This card's attack and defense become equal to the equipped monsters. And then if this would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. Sort of wish he retained Relinquished's ability to share the battle damage when the battle happens while he's equipped with an opponent's monster, but he's good enough as it is. So the extra deck, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, pay 1,000 life points, quick play spell, target a spell trap on the field and banish it. Just utility, helps you clean up some things. You may run into Waking the Dragons. It's a chance you'll have to take sometimes. Nobleman of Crossout. Some people still play flip effect monsters, but again, any monster that would have the ability to like stall you out. Nidoria being a big offender for this. Or, of course, any monster that you've already hit with Book of Moon becomes a target for Nobleman of Crossout. So you target a face-down monster on the field, destroy the target. If you do, banish it. Then, if it was a flip effect, both players reveal their decks, banishing all copies with that same name. So, very cool. And then, of course, Waking the Dragon, always rounding out my extra deck. If this set card in its owner's control has left the field because of an opponent's card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, so Night Beam, Cosmic Cyclone, insert other effect, Dust Tornado, whatever. As long as they did that, special summon a monster from your deck or your extra deck. And in this case, you could actually use it to power out Guardian Angel Joan if you really needed the extra power. Of course, I use the extra deck for this reason. I just feel like that's a bit bulkier. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this inspires you guys to play a little more casually. A little quick update since I still have a little bit of time. I do have a Discord. I'm getting ready to actually share that information with you guys. I will probably do that this Sunday coming up. And I'm going to be working on putting together a server so that we can all just chat and have a great day. And, maybe I can run some ideas of decks by you guys that way as well, to kind of fine tune what ends up on the channel. And also my personal one, in case you wanted to message me privately. Maybe you don't always use email. And this would be another good way of dealing with the giveaways. I'm really partial to the email just because, and this is something that a lot of people don't know. Usually, if you're using Gmail, your username on YouTube is actually the same as it is for your Gmail. So it just makes things a tad bit easier and a little more secure. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I may flip the script for the next 2 decks this week. I may do the second speed duel tomorrow and then give you guys the anime style Blackwing on Thursday. And again, for that, I'm just playing it based as if I was in the anime, if I was in 5Ds. I basically have to stick to the archetype without any real outside tech, outside of spell trap cards. And we're going to see just how well that ends up doing. Again, I might push that off to Thursday just to get an extra day of testing in. And I'm just rattling on now. So you guys do me one more favor, and you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.